Hello guys, welcome back to this video tutorial. So today we'll be continuing the tutorial for parsing a API request. So here, last time we have tackled about the REST response we have created in interface, which would have the on success and on error methods. For the on success, we will have the string response as the first argument, and then the context. Uh, the context will be very much helpful in terms of, for example, throwing or popping up messages, for example, for debugging purposes. So, yeah, especially in the on error, so you can throw or show some messages, pop up some messages on the Android whenever there are errors. Okay. So let's go back in the main activity. So we have here the user service that get routes, which will take two arguments. First is the context, and then the REST response, which is an interface. So here we're going to implement that interface. So new REST response, and then there will be two-way response. It would be either success or error on this get routes. So basically, what we did is in the user service implementation, we're just going to call that specific method rest that on success whenever there is, for example, on the on response, and then uh, in any error related here we can also send that error. So basically, the error and the response is dependent on our web API. So basically, what the API would give is very vital for your workflow or process flow of your request. Since it could be that this error is just related for any connectivity issues, right? And um the other one is we will still have the response even if it's, for example, that specific user is not valid, or for example you are doing a login, and then somehow it could be dependent on the web API. Like for example, it will just throw success, but it will have the message that not a valid user. So it's dependent on the response that the API is throwing off. So basically, here in the valley, in the error response, it would take any error that the API is passing. It's from the making the request, making the call of that request, and then getting the response of that request. So for example, we are sending a request, and then somehow it will, from the API level, it will throw an error of, for example, HTTP status 500, which is an internal server error. So that error would be here, would be full in this statement or method. So yeah, it depends on your API. So you should know the interface control document on on your API, so that you could handle that kind of scenarios. So for now we are just getting the routes, right? The different routes of available on our service, our um backend. Yeah, so here we're going to implement the on success and on error of the REST response. Basically what happens is that whenever the string request is, for example, success, it got it has a response already, then um, we will call the on success method. So in this way, we can handle it the response after the call was made, because if you handle the response without like for example, we're going just to return the get routes here, a list of user example. mm, yeah, just for example, it will just like this user list. Then here you will just parse parse list this way. So what will happen in this kind of scenario is that, remember that the string request in Valet is an asynchronous call. So basically, it would wait for any error or response from the server or from the web API. So it could be that the request is not yet done, then you have already called this line of codes. So that's why we need to implement it this way, so that we just handle the response if we have the actual response or the actual error of the request. So here we're going to handle things here, and then the error. So okay, so we're going to throw error here, and then let's have it error, and then that get message those that lecture issue. And then here on success, we're going to parse the response. So we need to have a parser. So we're going to create a package named as parser. Then we'll have an interface. Let's name it as routes parser. And then we're going to have a list of routes. List of routes. Then get routes list. Then it will have the string response. And then in the same package, we'll have the implementation of it. So we have the routes parser impl implements implements oh routes parser, then alt insert implement methods, and that's what get routes list. So we're going to parse it. We're going to have it as JSON object. Object is equals to new JSON object response. Then here we're going to just alt enter surround try catch. So basically what it does is that we need to surround it with try catch, so that for example, this is an empty or unconvertible with JSON object, then it will just have to throw an error or printing the error here. But right now it's just printing the stock trace in the log cut. So going to get that JSON object, JSON object, and then JSON object. This is the info object to object that get JSON object in info. Then JSON object routes object that's to info object that um, get with JSON object. That's ah sorry. This could be JSON array. It is an array. Then for each in I zero I routes out. Let's have this routes array that blank plus plus. Then let's have a list here. List of routes. Routes this equals to new array list. Then routes routes equals to new routes. Then routes that set route value name route value. Oh wait. Set route value have the JSON object have this name as full object, and then have it here as object new route I that get JSON object I, then object that get string route value routes the set route name route name, then routes links that add routes. Then we're going to return the routes list as well as here. We're going to kernel. No, okay, let's have it just returning this one, and then to here. This is where the context is needed because we need to print the message, right? So here in the interface, we need to add the context. Then those text and context. Mhm. Get routes list e dot get message those that show. So that's it for this parser. And then we're going to implement it on the on success. So let's have list of the routes. Routes list is equals to we have already declared routes list, I say. So routes list is equals to so we're going to implement first call here the routes parser. So new routes parser mpl, and then it has this response, then context. Then just to check the size of the routes list is not equal to 0, meaning it's valid. And if it's not, then that's